All honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS. Shalom to the hopeful elect and the brothers out there teaching this truth and sincerity. For the ribs out there learning in silence and the women staying in order, right? So, getting straight to it, right? With this whole monkeypox thing, right? Because we knew this was coming. If not this, another variant of this. And it's funny because they use this one because the monkeypox, right? If you remember that movie Outbreak, that plays into the minds of the people, man. These movies, because then people are going to start looking at it and the fear is going to rise up. These are all enchantments or type of enchantments. Basically a smoke and mirrors lies to make you believe something, right? It's a deception. So that's why Satan uses his movies, man. So right to it, right? This is what Biden just said. Biden says everybody should be concerned about monkeypox outbreaks, right? It says the monkeypox outbreak is something everybody should be concerned about, U.S. President Joe Biden said on Sunday, adding that U.S. health officials are looking into possible treatments and vaccines, right? It's funny because we know Biden's tied to the vaccine manufacturing. He has a stock, he makes money off of it, off his brother-in-law, right? So it's no coincidence that this devil will try to profit from passing these things out. On top of that, pushing Amalek's agenda to forward to the MOTBE. So like a MOTB, right? So I said we're working on it hard to figure out what we could do, right? What they're really saying is we're working hard to try to get y'all sick, kill some of y'all, and make money off of it. That's what he's saying. We're working on it hard to figure out what we do, right? So Biden has about 2 more years left in his presidency. So I don't know what, it's not for me to figure out if he's going to stay or not. It doesn't matter to me. But we do know that he's working hard to make as much money as possible till then. And at the end of the day, it's still Amalek's plan, but he's going to profit off of it somehow, right? Because the Clintons did it, right? A bunch of presidents, Bush did it. Bush did it with the oil, right? Now he's doing it with the vaccines, right? But it says here, we're working on it hard to figure out what we do. Biden told reporters at an air base in South Korea before departing on Air Force One for Japan, right? A lot of people don't even know what monkeypox is, man, right? This man is gone. Let's find out. According to the CDC, this is what monkeypox is, right? When they give children vaccines back when you're little, you got the chicken pox. It was like little bubbles that get hard and peel off and stuff like that. It's sort of the same thing, right? It's all man-made. It says monkeypox was first discovered in 1958 when 2 outbreaks of a pox-like disease occurred in colonies of monkeys kept for research, right? This is lab-made, hence the name monkeypox. The first human case of monkeypox was recorded in 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo during a period of intensified efforts to eliminate smallpox, since the monkeypox has been reported in humans in other Central and West African countries, right? This is where Jake was in West Africa before they came out here. So that's where they were experimenting. That's around the area where HIV was also researched, and they was recycling needles, injecting people with the same exact needle, knowing that it was going to infect other people, right? We're not ignorant. We know what's going on, right? So let's look at this account that happened in January, how they set the stage for what's going on now. They knew. I knew. I knew about this in January, and I told brothers this is next because, they're not slick, man. Sleazy E is not slick at all, right? It says all animals are accounted for after a truck carrying 100 lab monkeys crashed in Pennsylvania, right? This is around the midst of the C-19, right? So we already knew that this was the next plan. This was in January the 26th, right? We're like, what, 5 months past that? They've been already planning on, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna close it down. Now, the difference between the shutdown that could come from this virus compared to C-19 is with C-19 there was a lot of lockdowns. It was airborne, but people were allowed to still shop with masks on. The difference with this is that you won't even be allowed to shop. Why? Because by touching surface to surface, you could contaminate each other. So they're gonna make you stay home. Nobody's gonna be able to shop. You're probably gonna have to get your food delivered to you, right? There'll be a lot of scams with that going on. So prepare for another shutdown that you've not seen since. It's probably gonna be like more like a martial law type lockdown where you won't be allowed to be outside because surface to surface contamination. It's not airborne like they did before with the mask, right? Check this out. It says a pickup truck transporting 100 laboratory monkeys collided with a dump truck in Pennsylvania on Friday, January 21st, reports Michael Levinson for the New York Times. A total of 4 monkeys escaped from the wreckage after the dump truck tore off the front panel of the trailer and sent about a dozen crates tumbling out, right? Coincidentally, we have these monkeys who are high risk, and whoever's driving it is allegedly driving, kind of crazy enough to let the crates fall out the back. Like, come on, man. Like, I've been to CDL class. I graduated from CDL class A, and these type of vehicles and trucks and people go through extensive training as far as security, how to drive, how to secure loads. And when you're dealing with federal contracts like that, you're extra careful. So for whoever was driving, to be allegedly careless to let crates fall out the back, first off, those crates are to be secured, double locked, sealed, serial number on the lock in the back, possibly escorted by other federal vehicles. So how did they get out, man? Come on, man. Right? It says the drivers were unarmed and one passenger was transported to the hospital for possible minor injuries. So if it says hazardous materials on the truck, the people that are driving it will not handle it knowing, because you get training for hazardous materials and what type of hazards is in there. You are not to touch those things anyways. So you're always prepared for the worst, right? It says here, all of the animal escapees were found and accounted for by late Saturday, reports the Associated Press. Pennsylvania State Police first responded to the crash about 150 miles northwest of Philadelphia after the monkeys escaped. State troopers and state wildlife officials launched a search effort that included the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. In Pennsylvania, Department of Health officials, helicopters aided in the search, and local firefighters used thermal imaging cameras to locate the monkeys, per AP. So now we have all these resources, helicopters, firefighters, infrared, all this stuff after the fact. But you're going to tell me that they didn't take precautionary measures before the fact, right? That's bullshit. Soon after the crash, police posted a statement to Twitter to warn locals not to look for an attempt to capture any of the animals and instead call 911 immediately. So this is how they spread the fear, right? They let everybody know, hey, we got monkeys out there, be careful. So now everybody's in a frantic, right? Anything that happens with this accident is believable now, and it's gonna be multiplied and for a fear tactic, right? For the plan that's happening, this to come now, right? State Trooper Lauren Lesher told the Associated Press that the statements was released because the monkeys were not domesticated and loose in unknown area. It says here, crash update. A small number of monkeys may have fled the crash scene into the surrounding areas. If the public spots one, please keep your distance and call 911 immediately, right? These are the scare tactics they used that day. Health and safety of residents and visitors is our top priority, right? They use keywords, man, to scare you. So it says go back here. It says here, the Associated Press statement was released because the monkeys were not domesticated, loose in unknown area called long-tailed I can't pronounce that, makakis, whatever. The monkeys have reddish brown fur and can live up to 30 years in captivity, right? So they specifically chose these monkeys because they could survive and go through hard times, for 30 years plus, whatever. You know, these are carefully selected monkeys, man. These ain't dumbasses, man. You mean to tell me that monkeys could escape, but people in the feds that are smarter than monkeys can't escape, right? The monkeys in the accident were on their way to a CDC approved quarantine facility after arriving at New York's Kennedy Airport from Mauritius, an island nation located at the eastern coast of Africa near Madagascar, per AP. According to Wisconsin National Primate Research Center, these monkeys are often used for medical studies because their human-like neurological, reproductive, and immunological system. The primates can cost up to $10,000 each. However, the type of research the monkeys were going to be used for was unclear. These types of monkeys are currently in high demand for coronavirus vaccine research, per the New York Times. So you mean to tell me that these monkeys were being used for research for C-19 and now spreading monkeypox? I mean, you just read that and you already know something's up, right? A few eyewitnesses pulled over to help those involved in the incident, including Michael Fallon, who stopped to help the truck driver. Initially, she thought the distressed animals were cats and placed her hand on one of the cages when one of the monkeys hissed at her, reports Craig Graziosi for the Independent. Soon after her contact with the animal, Fallon developed pink eye and a cough. She has since received treatment, and CDC health officials have told her in a letter to watch for symptoms and notify the Pennsylvania State Department of Health if she becomes ill. In an email to AP, CDC spokesperson Kristen Norlund said the 3 escaped monkeys were euthanized by gunshot but did not explain why. Oh man, some of this stuff gets you angry, bro. Like when somebody tries to insult your intelligence, right? But we're not ignorant, man. It's just frustrating how dumb people could be. It says here the remaining monkeys will be monitored and quarantined for 31 days before they're released, per the Philly Voice. Right, I think that's it on that, right? So it's nothing new, man. There's nothing new under the sun. So even in the time of Moses, when when Moses was trying to tell him to let his people go, that he has a higher power, Pharaoh grabbed his enchanters and magicians, to kind of like flex in a sense. And that's what they're doing here, man. They're using enchantments. They're using their false medicines, right? Because Esau right now is completely adverse to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He does everything completely backwards. He removed natural medicines and put synthetic medicine, which contains pork in it as well, right? But do this shit on purpose, man. This is one account in Exodus chapter 7 verse 11 says, then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments, right? And they did these little smoke and mirror things, man, to flex their quote unquote power, to make themselves as if they're God. Same thing with the medicines. They try to heal on the left hand side. They get you sick and then they try to heal you, but they're really just trying to profit off you and keep you sinning, right? Verse 12, for they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents, but Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods, right? When we jump to verse 22, it says, and the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, right? He became hard-headed. He's like proud. He's like, okay, look what I got. So what I could do. It says, neither did he hearken unto them. And Yahweh Chin Yahushai had said, and Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he set his heart to this also, right? He just walked away like nothing, man. This is most of the people out here in Babylon, man. They see the smokes and mirrors, they take it, they cheer, and they go back to their cage. That's what it is, man. Salak it 1 second. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2. Verse 27 says, but Yahweh has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and Yahweh has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty, right? Because we're not going to be moved by any of this, right? The wise men of Teman, all your wise men of Teman will be considered fools, man. You're not going to move us. You're not going to move the people in the know, the people who believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Especially the elect, right? Even though your deceit could be so great that it could possibly fool the elect, but it's impossible. You're not going to be able to fool the elect, man. With these enchantments and, these smokes and mirrors, man. It ain't going to happen. Right? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We seen this coming from a mile away, man. And I hope you do too. Right? That's it on that, man. Shalom.